There's something much, much more important than strategy, and that is demeanor. I'm going to show you what demeanor is and what it entails. There are a lot of strategies when it comes to talking to people better, networking with people better, organizing and managing and succeeding in your business better, having better relationships, having better sex, having better interactions with people, with your customers, with friends, with colleagues, with coworkers, with business partners, with random people, with people that are in your network, in your social media. There's lots of different strategies for you to interact with them better, communicate with them better, influence them better, get the deal better. How do you interact with a car dealer? How do you negotiate with somebody who is your partner? How do you negotiate with somebody who is a business partner or a customer or a client? There's lots of different strategies, and I teach those strategies in Great Relationships University, in Successful Open Relationships courses, link in my bio. But the most important thing, and the thing that will give you a lot of confidence anywhere, even if you're thrusted into a new situation with a new person and with a new individual in a new location, in a place you've never been before, in an activity you've never done before, with a person whom you never interacted with before, who you don't know how they will interact with you. You don't know whether they'll become significant to you or not significant to you at all. You don't know if they're going to become an asset or a burden to you. You can have sublime confidence in that. I talk a lot about confidence in other videos, but here what I want to talk about is something called demeanor. But let's begin with this. When it comes to enlightenment, and remember that enlightenment is not meditating for 7 years on some mountain by yourself so you can reach enlightenment. Enlightenment in its metaphorical, literal, figurative definition is to unburden yourself, to enlighten yourself, to take the load off. Things that weigh on you, you take it off. Or to shed light on something, to enlighten. Some things you can't see previously, now you can see because you've shed light on something. In any format or figure or of speech or literal sense that you take enlightenment it is to unburden yourself. When it comes to unburdening people, when it comes to unburdening yourself, you will get, some people might get angry because, hey, that's not what I've been taught. That's not what my ego thinks. That's not what I've previously learned. And this is why we follow the scientific method. The scientific method is not listening to a bunch of people who claim to be scientists, who claim to have a study on something. The scientific method is taking something which is theory, putting it into practice, and seeing what pans out, seeing what's repeatable. And when it comes to philosophy, the scientific method is what we call critical thinking. Because some things that can't be put into practice have to be critically thought of, philosophically. So, one of the aspects of enlightenment, to unburden yourself, begins with unsettling yourself. Because a lot of the things that you thought you knew are actually completely different, are actually things that are completely opposite of what you've previously thought or what you've previously been taught. So you will become unsettled first before you become enlightened. So one of the aspects of enlightenment is self-appreciation. You've been taught, hey, you have to appear confident for you to be confident. But actually confidence is what you can rely upon to be true. Confidence without experience is arrogance. Did you hear that? Confidence without experience is arrogance. There is no confidence without experience because confidence without experience is arrogance. Confidence is what you can rely upon to be true. If you can't rely upon it to be true, You can't be confident about it. Take any circumstance where you had to bet your money that this thing is true. How much are you willing to bet? How much of your income are you willing to bet that something is true? If you're willing to bet a lot of money over something which you have no experience or data that you know for certain is going to happen, is arrogance. Are you willing to bet your entire life savings on something which you have no experience or no data or no scientific proof? Leaving that alone for now, you don't actually need confidence to enter into any experience so you can be confident, so people can perceive you as someone who's confident. More important than any skill, you can learn any skill. You can learn any strategy when it comes to influencing people better, having better relationships, doing better in your business, in communicating with people better, getting better deals, better negotiations. Much more important in your confidence, so that people can perceive you as someone who's confident, is your demeanor. And your demeanor comprises of something called, in enlightenment, self-appreciation. Self-appreciation is the confluence, the combination of self-confidence, which you can rely upon to be true. And in this idea of self-appreciation, self-confidence is your confidence about yourself. And no one knows you better than you. Catch that? When you got self-confidence, which you can rely upon to be true, without any bogosity, without any pretending, without communicating with people to pretend to be someone you're not, you match your self-confidence with your self-estimation. Your self-esteem is what you estimate of yourself, your self-estimation. If what you estimate about yourself is aligned with what you can rely upon to be true, what you're self-confident, you estimate exactly what you're confident. If you inappropriately estimate, you're going to be in a world of hurt. You're going to be disappointed every time. But if you estimate exactly what you can prove to yourself demonstrably to be true, you can demonstrate to yourself to be true. You have something called, you have aligned your self-esteem, what you estimate of yourself, with what you can rely upon to be true. You have something called self-appreciation. There's nothing more attractive than someone who appreciates themselves. In other words, someone who understands themselves and does not have to prove anything to anyone. And that is my demeanor when I approach anything. My demeanor is that I know who I am. I know what I can provide. I'm not going to pretend to provide something which I don't know if I can provide, or I'm not prepared to provide. I'm not going to pretend to be someone I'm not. I'm just going to pretend to be who I am. There are things I know. There are a lot of things that I don't know. But I'm willing to learn if I'm interested. And that's what gives you the demeanor of someone who is utterly, sublimely, attractively self-confident.